Morning, Nigeria. You are tuned in to Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. It's Monday, the 1st of September, 2025, and a brand new month. Of course, it's a fresh week. I'm Samson Balogun, and I am glad to have you start this new chapter with us.
And my name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Together, we are here to brighten your morning with news, analysis, and conversations that truly matter. We hope your weekend was restful, and now we are ready to set the pace for a productive September.
Yes, kicking things off this morning is Daybreak Gist. We are spotlighting a major policy shift. The federal government has barred consultants and core members from federal personnel payroll. What does this mean for transparency, accountability, and Nigeria's wage structure? We'll dig in on this one.
After that, it's time for the weather report from across the country, giving you the update you need to plan your day.
Yes, and then comes Daybreak News, anchored this morning by Anulu Akwedo, who will be bringing you a sharp roundup of today's top stories from Nigeria and around the world.
And right after that, I'll be taking you through newspaper headlines and analysis, scanning the front pages and breaking down the big issues shaping the national conversation. Expect clarity, context, and straight talk.
And of course, on the big story today, we turned to the unfolding drama in the Niger Delta. Power struggle in rivers, emergency rule, and the battle for political control. It is a high-stakes clash that could reshape politics in one of Nigeria's most strategic states.
It's a conversation you definitely don't want to miss. Insightful, bold, and deeply relevant.
Right, and of course, we'll round up things with Trend Watch, bringing you the pulse of Nigeria from social media buzz to everyday street conversations.
So whether you're just stepping out, already on the move, or settling into Monday, please stay with us.
This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and we are just getting started. Good morning to you, Yemi.
Good morning, Samson. Happy new month.
It's a new month. It's a new week. Coincidentally, it's a fresh week.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, good to have you back fresh and sound.
Honestly, I can say the same.
You know,
it's going to be a good month, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It actually started on a bright note. The weather was so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not the routine kind of weather you would feel. And of course, you know, the breeze of good luck this morning, you would know.
Definitely.
The federal government has actually barred, you know, core members, contractors, and you know, so many other people from you know, the payroll. I mean, it was an announcement that was made yesterday, and then you begin to ask some questions. Are there no lines being drawn between who's a permanent staff and someone who comes in for 1 year and just leaves after that?
Honestly, I think it's a strong one. When I read the story, I was quite shocked as well, because I mean, let's not even talk about the core members. What about the contractors and the likes? Because it's going to take a toll on them, because if they are, you know, removed from the payroll. But I think the government is trying to cut costs, you know, sort of, you know, by saying we want to exclude some things from the budget. Because I mean, looking at the budget, if you look at 2015, you know, and try to compare it to 2025, you see that our budget has gone up, and it's not something that we can really afford. Because just recently, the Senate had to approve another loan of about $21 million. So we keep borrowing, and this budget is so dependent on oil, and oil is not doing well. If you look at the price per barrel, oil is not doing well. So we keep borrowing, and it's affecting us. So the government is trying to cut costs. So I think it's counterproductive, because just last week we were talking about how, you know, Olubunmi Tujojo came out to say that the federal government wants to start paying lifetime salaries, I mean, to the senior officers. So if we keep removing from the budget and we are adding to it, at the end of the day, the budget might really not change. Yeah. It might even go up. So you don't even need a PhD to actually calculate this thing. It's simple mathematics.
It's not rocket science.
Definitely, if you want to cut costs, you know, you don't have to add some other things, and so you now make it, you can increase the budget about that. So if you want to cut costs, remove some certain things and don't add to them. And so I think the federal government has looked for ways to actually, you know, cater for the core members, because when I read the story, but then what about the other people? What about the other things they're adding to the budget that at the end of the day we will not see any good change, you know, in the budget? So that's what I make.
I think it's actually a challenge that has been there for a long time, and I just you know, I'll give kudos to the minister in charge, who actually, you know, spots the error and decides to take decisive action to actually correct it. Judging by the fact that you see, you know, core members, you know, in a ministry like that are meant to be catered for through the overhead costs. You know, every ministry gets what we call impressed in you know, in when we talk about the framework of budgeting. So every ministry gets you know, impressed, and they should be catered for in the interest that has been given to every ministry. But of course, what they do is even after getting the money, they still move a bulk of their cost, running costs, to the payroll of the federal government, and then it becomes more cumbersome for the government to cater for, and that's why they are trying to at least separate some things. Look, these ones are your problems. Don't bring it to. I could remember a few months ago. It's about a year now, where some ministries decided not to be a part of the IPPIS, saying, look, it's a payment system that we don't want to be a part of. But the truth of the matter is, just like you said, we have, solved some problems and created much more. And that is the problem we have always had in Nigeria. When you solve a problem, you don't create more problems. And we keep borrowing, just like you said, and then you ask yourself this question: where exactly are these monies going? And there are loopholes. There are what I would call holes in the pocket of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where every penny that is dropped in there, just gets flushed away just like that. And then when you ask questions, oh, how was this money spent? There's no explanation. And well, on paper there are explanations, but in the real sense of it, when you put common sense to it, you ask yourself this question: it's something that should not happen, and I believe it is currently being addressed. Though even after the announcement was made, just like you said, some things are still being added to the budget. Do you know that there are some ministries where, on a yearly basis, they buy computers? And then you ask, do these computers expire? Some people buy vehicles, ministries buy vehicles every year. Do vehicles expire just like that? And some other things. These are places where the federal government loses money. And if it is to be corrected, a lot of people, let me say, they will step on those. But if you really want to make Nigeria great again, I think these are the things to do.
And speaking of the government in the mode of payment, I think it will also err, because I mean, so much of them, they are actually clamoring for another mode of payments, because that mode of payment, I mean, does not favor them. And speaking of the core members, I don't know if you know, a lot of core members want to be posted to ministries. Why? Because they feel like, core members are well catered for. So now it's like their hope is dashed. But really, if you really want to cut the cost and, of course, reduce the burdens on Nigerians, these are some of the things that we need to do. But then, when we try to reduce the cost, let's not add more to it. Yeah, so we don't really see the change. And of course, I mean, you want to shatter the hope of the core members. Now we don't know if they will be getting monthly stipend.
Yeah, they will be getting monthly stipends,
up to what they used
might
to
not
get.
be up to that,
and all the goodies around it
might not really be there.
Might not really be
there
anymore.
The thing is, yes, it was stated, it was expressly declared in that statement that, look, it's not like you are not going to give them the stipends to keep them, but then take care of that through, the impressed accounts you have. So don't bring them to, the national payroll, so it doesn't become, more problems for the federal government, which is fine. You mentioned something about, some hopes being dashed. I think, nobody promised it's going to be easy for anyone. I mean, that is why you have to put yourself in a situation where you don't really need people's approval or help to get things done. Though it is necessary that you speak up when you need help. But at this point, see, look, as a core member, your job is not just to sit down for 1 year. That is why you have, ample time to get some things done. During that period, you can actually develop yourself to get, some other knowledge that might be, really useful to you, along the way. But in the real sense of it, I do feel for them anyway, because
you mentioned, speaking of, I don't even think they're going to complain. I mean, their take home for a month was just increased recently, from 33 to 77. So I think, the federal government, or let me say, just like you said, there has been something that's been allocated, to cater for them every month. Though it might not be up to what they used to get nationally, but I think they're going to survive. Really, it's Nigeria. So I just hope that at the end of the day, I don't know those that are in charge of advising the federal government on how to cut costs, but I think I'm not even an economist. There are some certain things that we can see clearly. You don't even need to be.
It's not.
So I think something should be looked into, definitely, to ensure that we can cut these costs, perfectly, honestly.
And I do hope that core members will still rush the ministry just like they do, even after this announcement.
Let's look forward to that.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show so far. It has been a wonderful session. You can link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll take weather report. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Now we'll take weather report on this show. This morning, we head straight to Rivers State as weather is currently feels like 21 degrees Celsius, cloudy right there. And later in the morning, it will rise to 25 degrees Celsius, expected to be mostly cloudy right there in Rivers State. And by afternoon, there will be showers in Rivers State as temperature is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius. It will be 22 degrees Celsius in the evening, cloudy, and overnight it will be 21 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy in Port Harcourt.
All right, let's cross over to Kwara. This morning, weather feels like 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 7%. In the afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, 6%. And in the evening, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly clear, 7%. Overnight, 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 8%. That's what we have for Kwara this morning.
And moving straight to Ekiti this morning, Ekiti State, Ado Ekiti to be precise, weather currently feels like 20 degrees Celsius, but it's expected to rise to 24 degrees Celsius later in the morning, and it will be mostly cloudy there. And in the afternoon, it will be 28 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, also partly cloudy in the evening at 23 degrees Celsius, and it will be cloudy overnight in Ekiti this morning. And of course, temperature is expected to be at 21 degrees Celsius.
Well, let's talk about Ibadan. Weather this morning feels like 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 5%. Afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 14%. And the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, mostly clear, around 7%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy, around 9%. That's what we have this morning for Ibadan.
Well, moving away from the ancient metropolitan city of hospitality, Ibadan, this morning, we head straight to Kaduna. And of course, weather currently feels like 21 degrees Celsius right there. And later in the morning, it will be partly cloudy at 25 degrees Celsius. And also partly cloudy in the afternoon at 28 degrees Celsius. There will be scattered thunderstorms in Kaduna today and at 23 degrees Celsius. And overnight, it will be mostly cloudy at 22 degrees Celsius.
All right, let's cross over to Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. This morning, weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, 12%. Afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, 8%. And in the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, 6%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, showers around 35%. That's what we have for FCT this morning.
Okay, moving straight to Ogun. Of course, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, this morning. It currently feels like 22 degrees Celsius right there. And it will be mostly cloudy later in the morning at 26 degrees Celsius. Partly cloudy in the afternoon at 30 degrees Celsius. And by evening, it will be clear at 24 degrees Celsius. And overnight at 22 degrees Celsius, it is expected to be mostly cloudy in Abeokuta.
All right, let's cross over to Osogbo this morning. Weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 7%. In the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 6%. In the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, clear 7%. And of course, overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 24%. That's what we have for Osogbo this morning.
And up north in Kano this morning, currently feels like 22 degrees Celsius, and it will be partly cloudy later in the morning at 27 degrees Celsius. There will be scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon at 30 degrees Celsius, and later in the evening at 25 degrees Celsius. It is expected to shower in Kano, and overnight it will be 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. So if you are in Kano this wonderful morning, keep your umbrella handy in case you are heading out.
All right, let's cross over to Lagos this morning. Weather feels like 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 13%. In the afternoon, 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 4%. In the evening, 25 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 6%. And overnight, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 7%. That's what we have for Lagos this morning.
All right, that will be all on weather reports this morning. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll take the news. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anuluakpo Ido. The federal government has said that it has completed a comprehensive review of school curricula for basic, senior secondary, and technical education. The Ministry of Education disclosed this in a statement signed by its Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriowo Folashade, and made available to newsmen. Folashade said that the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad, announced the curriculum on behalf of the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, while speaking in Abuja. According to the minister, the review was carried out in collaboration with key education stakeholders, including the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, the Universal Basic Education Commission, the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, and the National Board for Technical Education. The federal government has also directed ministries, departments, and agencies to exclude consultants, corps members, and other non-permanent workers from their personnel payroll in the 2026 budget. This directive was contained in the 2026 Personnel Cost Budget Core Circular issued by the Budget Office of the Federation. The circular was signed by the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and addressed to ministers, service chiefs, permanent secretaries, and heads of parastatals. According to the circular, only legitimate employees of the federal government are to be reflected in the personnel cost budget. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has emerged victorious in a landslide victory in the Rivers State local government elections, securing 20 out of 23 local government. The chairman, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Dr. Michael Ode, announced the results at the commission's headquarters along Abba Road in Port Harcourt. According to Ode, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, managed to clinch the remaining 3 local government. Now, a tragic incident occurred in the Kasuwan Gabar town, Mariga local government area of Niger State, where a woman identified as Amaye was reportedly burned to death by a mob. Amaye, a restaurant owner, was said to have made comments that were considered offensive during a conversation with a customer at her restaurant. According to report, the customer had jokingly proposed marriage to her, referencing the tradition of the prophet. In response, Amaye allegedly made remarks that some in the community deemed blasphemous, which led to growing tension among locals. Following the incident, Amaye was taken to the palace of the district head of Kasuwan Gabar. From there, she was handed over to security operatives for further investigation in what seemed to be an effort to maintain order and ensure due process. Unfortunately, a mob soon overpowered the security personnel and forcibly took Amaye, ultimately lynching her. The Niger State Police Command has since confirmed the incident and announced that an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the attack is currently underway. And now in business, Nigeria and Brazil have initiated talks to strengthen their economic and financial cooperation with a strong emphasis on advancing payment systems, financial technology, and mobile money services. The move is aimed at fostering innovation and improving financial inclusion in both countries. The discussions took place in Brasilia between the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, and the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Brazil, Gabriel Galipolo. The meeting coincided with President Tinubu's state visit to Brazil, signaling the importance of bilateral agreements and engagement. A press statement released by the CBN confirmed that the talks were part of a broader working visit by the Nigerian Central Bank team to the Banco Central do Brasil. The visit underscored the commitment of both nations to enhancing financial cooperation through strategic dialogue. In addition to the high-level meeting, the Nigerian delegation also participated in a series of technical sessions with Brazilian officials. These meetings addressed key issues such as monetary policy, financial stability, and regulatory collaboration, laying the groundwork for future partnerships between the two central banks. And now in sports, Albert Hillary has been appointed Plateau United captain for the 2025-2026 Nigeria Premier Football League season. Albert's appointment was confirmed by the club. He took over the leadership role from Daniel Itodo, who left the club after 12 years. Albert's elevation is part of the Peace Boys' rebuilding process for the new season. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and X, Dominion Cast. That's Daybreak News. I am Anolo Akpo Ito. Thank you for watching.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Newspaper Headlines Analysis. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. This morning, let's take it from the Punch newspaper. I have the banner headline that says, Rivers local government poll, Atiku demands annulment as Wike reasserts control. And that headline asks this writers, Fubara loses local government, APC wins 20 local governments, PDP claim 3, FCT minister control temporary. That's coming from Rivers elders. Honestly, looking at how this election went, a lot of Nigerians are complaining that, why was the election held and when the sitting governor is still on suspension? However, I think Wike during the weekend came out to say that Fubara will come up September 18, and Nigerians are surprised. How is it that he has that information with him when a lot is going on in Rivers State? And looking at how the election played out, APC won 20, while PDP claimed 3. Even Fubara lost his local government. I mean, that's a lot to say. So Nigerians are also complaining about the fact that the sole administrator is the one who handled all of this election, this local government election, and then in terms of the constitution, that is not quite right. It's a lot to unpack on this Rivers State election. We look up to whether Fubara will come up or resume his duties, come September 18, according to Wike, because it appears Wike, is now very popular, more popular in Rivers State, and has been able to consolidate on this power in that particular state. Away from the story, let's also check verse 1 that says, Reps deny alleged planned showdown with Speaker. And of course, it's been a lot to undo between the speakers, and the reps are saying that, okay, we did not plan any showdown with any speaker. Away from that story, let's cross over from the Punch to Salient Times this morning. I have this headline that says, don't give your 2027 presidential ticket to Jonathan. That's coming from Keyamo, and is warning the PDP because there have been claims that Jonathan might be the flag bearer of the party. He's between Jonathan and Peter Obi. They are trying to woo Peter Obi back to the PDP. Keyamo is saying, according to the Constitution, Goodluck Jonathan completed the term of Yaradua and, of course, was installed as the president. And when he won the election in 2011, he was also installed as the president. And should PDP make Jonathan their flag bearer for 2027, he might not be allowed to run, to contest, because the law might put him out. There's a lot of controversies, surrounding this matter, that Jonathan might not be allowed to run should PDP, use him or maybe make him the flag bearer of the 2027 general elections because of what the Constitution says. We look forward to how that will play out because, a lot of supporters, there is even a particular group that is called Bring Back Our Jonathan. They are saying that Jonathan would contest as the president of, or contest as the presidential candidate of the PDP. However, according to the law, quite a number of things to unpack on that. We look forward to how that will play out. Away from that story, let's also check this one that says, I'm sorry, NRC MD Opeva bows to pressure, apologizes to Nigerian journalists. Also have this headline that says, register to vote, God won't descend to elect leaders for us. Obi tells Nigerian youth. That's very candid and profound. If you don't register to vote, there's no how you're going to vote. Don't forget, there's been a controversy about the Osun State particularly, that the likes of Atiku and quite a number of, politicians, and the PDP, ADC came out to say that, why do we have close to 400,000 voters in just a week? And then I think one of my analysts came out to defend that, to say that Osun is preparing for 2026 governorship election, and so if you have that number, it's not a big deal. However, Peter Obi is saying that if you do not register to vote, God will not descend to elect leaders for us. And this does not apply to Osun State alone. I think this is for Nigerians, across the country. We have the registration has started in quite a number of places. And of course, if you do not have your voter's card, this is the best time for you to get it so you can vote. Because if you don't vote, you have no right to complain about whosoever emerge as the winner, come 2027. Away from that, let's also cross over to Nigerian News Direct. I have this headline that says, mixed reactions as APC sweeps Rivers local government polls. It appears, APC is now very strong in Rivers State, in looking at the fact that, the sitting governor, though on suspension, Fubara, is a PDP member. But looking at how, the suspension has played out, looking at how, the sole administrator has been in charge of the activities of that state, and of course, the election, held last week, and the president, directed the election, to hold, because Nigerians are saying, why should that election hold when the sitting governor is still in suspension? Away from that story, let's check this one that says, are we 2027, are we seek office only if I can fix Nigeria? That's coming from Erifai. Erifai is a member of the ATC coalition, and of course is saying he will only run for office if he can fix Nigeria. And I think that's very profound, looking at the fact that over time, I don't think Erifai came out to say he's interested in contesting. We've only been hearing from the likes of Amaechi, the likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Atiku. We came out recently to say, I'm not desperate to become president, but I will definitely contest for the 2027 presidential elections. Away from that, let's also cross over to another paper this morning. Let's cross over to the New Telegraph. I have this headline that says, one killed, over 300 families submerged as heavy flood hits Nasarawa. I think over time now we've been complaining so much about the issue of flood, not just in the northern part of the country. I think in the south as well, even in Lagos State, areas like Lekki and the likes. I think the flood, has done a lot of damage to lives and properties. Many analysts, a lot of them will come out to say you really cannot control water, but I do believe that there are certain measures that can be put in place to safeguard the lives of the people. Even if there'll be, loss of properties, it should be reduced to the barest minimum. And there's a way we can actually, reduce, loss of lives, because a lot of persons have died over 6 months now, serious, cases of flood in the country. Away from that, let's also check this headline. that says Rivers local government poll, Wike's APC loyally secured 20 seats as PDP takes 3. I think we have dealt with that one. Let's also check this headline that says Atiku cries foul as Wike recaptures Rivers grassroots for Barra politically adrift. We've talked about that Wike is trying so much to take over Rivers State again. I mean, it's not like maybe he left, Rivers State. I mean, as a member of that state and, of course, I mean, still in the PDP. But we all know he's working for the APC, and that is allowed under the Constitution. But it appears that he has a stronghold in that particular state, which is affecting, I mean, the sitting governor. We do hope that he will come back, just like Wike said, come September 18. Away from that headline, let's cross over to The Nation this morning. I have this headline that says health security systems reinforced to combat disease threat. And of course, I think looking at how a lot of persons have died from one disease or the other in the country, I think is one thing that we need to look at. I mean, the budget captures a lot of things, captures the health sector, captures education. I think it's not just about pumping money into the health sector. It's about, getting specialists, experts. I mean, we can actually, give us a proper solutions to some of this disease, and of course, make sure that people are living healthy. It's a place to leave it this morning. Not on the newspaper headline segment, but definitely we need to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll look at the major stories. I have my analyst here with me in the studio. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. It is still newspaper headlines analysis on Daybreak Live this morning. I have with me Temitope Ishola, who is a public affairs analyst and, of course, historian. Welcome on board this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Temitope. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month to you.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Let's start from the Rivers State election. Out of 23, APC won 20 and PDP claimed 3. Even the sitting governor, though on suspension, lost his own local government. And Wike also came out to say that, he's going to come back, September 18th. And Nigerians are wondering, why is it that Wike has so much power in that state for him to even know when, the suspension will be lifted? What do you make of all of this, really?
I think for the suspension, the president was very clear when he said that it was going to be 3-month suspension, if I'm not mistaken. I think 3 months or 6 months suspension, and September already, I think, hands down to the conclusion of that timeline.
Okay.
So, but I'm not also surprised because, like I tell people, the whole scenario in Rivers State is basically because of Wike. The administrator that came in on board came in because of Wike. So everything you see currently being played out is the will of Wike. And we don't forget that in 2023, when the president was coming in during the elections, Wike basically maneuvered and manipulated the results for the president. So it's more of a case of the president owing him and giving him back favors as it were. And that's basically what has happened with Rivers State today.
Okay, can you please hold your thoughts? We need to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Please stay with us.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. Tim Tope, please complete your thoughts on that.
So, as I was saying earlier, everything happening in Rivers State today is as a result of the president favoring Wike over what is right, what is sensible, what the Constitution says.
Okay.
At no point was Rivers' political crisis heightened to the extent to warrant an interim or an administrator coming in to the extent that you suspend a sitting governor. But the president did it at the request of Wike.
Okay.
Now, an election shouldn't even hold until the elected governor is back on seat. That also didn't hold. So basically what you see today is basically the fight for the control of Rivers State. And that's what played out with the local government elections. Let's not forget that Fubara also conducted an election just like roughly a year ago, where he cleared all the seats in Rivers State, and Wike lost out on all the local government chairmen. So all you just see is whatever agreement was made in their reconciliation meeting, I believe this is one of these many conclusions that were arrived at that meeting that kind of reinstall the control of Wike within because whoever is going to be the governor or whoever is going to control the states and wants to wield control, the local government is very critical for them because they are the very base of the grassroots. So what we just see is Wike's boys just going back under the APC platform to retain control. So what we just see is everything is going back to status quo just like after the elections. While Fubara goes back to be a sitting dog and just completes his 4-year tenure. And I don't see him, with this scenario, I don't see him coming back for a second term. They basically clipped his wings. And I think that's what we are seeing. So we shouldn't also forget that when it comes to local government elections, there is barely any fairness during the local government elections in Nigeria, because the individuals that execute the elections are basically handsmen of the sitting government. So until they take away that control out of independent organizations within the state level and take it down to INEC back, even INEC is not even that credible, but at least there's a sense of neutrality that can still be maintained with INEC. But you find a scenario whereby the State Electoral Committee or council that is going to conduct the election is funded by the sitting government. They definitely will not go against their boss. So there's a need for a neutral body, perhaps the INEC, that can take over it. So until we get to that level, I don't think we would see any real fair election. So let them do the elections tomorrow, and Fubara is in active control. Fubara is going to win it. let's go to a party. Okay, look at the Labour Party of Abia. They won theirs. So as long as the sitting governor is from a party, that his party would always win, or whichever party he backs would always win, and that's what happened with Rivers. So it's not a surprise. It is not a pointer to what could happen in votes in next election. No, it's just for the moment now to retain control. And I believe and I hope that the citizens will be able to speak out, because in all fairness, they are already being frustrated about the Opa also in Rivers State. And I believe that in come 2023, they'll probably have their say to put an end to all of this.
All right, I think it's a fine place to leave that, speaking about Rivers State. Let's talk about El-Rufai and ADC. I watched some videos online, and then while he was having a meeting with some other stakeholders of the party, some guys came in, they referred to as talks. They came in, they disrupted the meeting. Some people even got injured. And of course, recently, I think yesterday, he came up to speak about the matter, during an interview on national television, to say that he thinks, the government of that state is involved in what happened. And then there were even claims by some Nigerians to say that El-Rufai actually, drafted that, maybe look for some certain folks to come and disrupt the party just to gain some cheap points. What do you make of that disruption, really, in Kaduna?
I think I'm more inclined to believe that the state government has a hand in it than he doing, or than being perceived as his own handiwork.
What does he stand to gain if he decides to disrupt?
Exactly. So why I said I believe, or I'm inclined to think, is the state government, is that let's not forget that El-Rufai has come under heavy attack in recent months, largely because he has been leading the front in mobilizing the opposition structure of the country against the sitting president. His successor in government is not really on his side, and that is predicated upon things like the suspension of El-Rufai from the SDP for 30 years.
30 years ban.
Which I've not seen what he has done to warrant such, when Wike is still roaming freely in PDP. So you can already tell the inputs or the imprints of oppression and suppression within the political space. So first, we should also not forget that El-Rufai is a former sitting governor of the state. So definitely, for individuals of that magnitude to walk into that place, it means that there is a hand somewhere that has enabled those individuals to go ahead with it. So the only way the state government can probably prove that they are El-Rufai boys is to get those guys arrested and processed. Find them, process them, if you know you are truly not involved in it. So, but until then, I would always feel inclined to believe that the state government has a hand in it. And this is some of the things we keep talking about in the political space, where freedom of thoughts, expressions of thoughts are being stifled. It's okay for you to have divergent views, but you should be able to allow the other person to say his or her mind. And I'm of this view that the minority would, the majority would have their way, but at least the minority should be allowed to have their say. And in the political space here, everybody just wants to toe just one angle. And I think it's very bad for the politics generally in the country at large. And I just hope that moving into 2027, acts like this is suppressed. Because if we also want to take a look at conversations in the polity, we've seen state governments come out before, governors come out before, addressing single individuals that they don't want them in their state, that they caused this, they caused that. So, all these rhetorics most likely eventually leads to actions like this. So whether it was even planned or unplanned, if it is not nipped in the bud as quickly as possible, I fear that we might start finding similar stuff springing up across the country, which definitely is not good. And I just hope that that is not allowed to stay for long and people are really dealt with to ensure that this doesn't become a pattern going into 2027.
All right, I think it's a fine place to leave that story, because the ADC is taking ground in the country, regardless of the fact that, it's a minority party. We cannot begin to compare ADC with the likes of PDP.
Absolutely.
And APC, but I do believe that, with time, PDP started from somewhere. I think PDP is celebrating, this 2070 year anniversary in this country. Away from that story, I don't know if you read this particular story of a certain woman, Amaye, who was lynched in the northern part of the country because she made some statements, that some persons consider derogatory, and then at a point I think the security operators had control of the matter, but they found a way to overpower the security operatives, and she was lynched because she made some comment about maybe Islam or maybe the Prophet and the likes. Initially, I think she owns a restaurant where she sells food, and one of the customers, tried to propose marriage to her. So maybe when she was trying to respond to that matter, I mean, it became a serious matter, and at the end of the day, she lost her life. Really, what do you make of the story?
Religious intolerance is still something we face in Nigeria, but largely in the north or in the northern part of the country, which is why it hasn't been really pronounced in the public space, but it's something that keeps going on there. And I believe this is as a result of also the political class, as well as the religious class, in terms of rhetorics, in terms of conversations being had. I am one that believes that if you serve any God, it means that you believe in his ability to save or to defend himself. There is no need for any religion whatsoever on earth for anyone to stand up in the defense of his God to kill another man. I don't believe I don't believe there's any basis for that generally. And like I said, we've seen it happen over time in the country where random remarks makes individuals lose their lives, that upon proper investigation, you may realize that there was no enough basis for that to have happened. But we live in a country where people get triggered unnecessarily. People get triggered, you make remarks, even though it may not be intended in the way it is being perceived. Okay. People get triggered. So where I'm looking at these issues from is also orientation. We can't also fault the orientation of these individuals because a good number of them have been taught that that's the way to go. For me, I have friends, Muslim friends in the Southwest and the likes, and I've seen how they've conducted themselves, that most of those acts up north is like day and night. So that's why I said there's a cultural part of it, there's the teachings that come with it. So until Nigeria government, and why I use the word government is because I believe government is very powerful to shape policy, to shape culture, to shape the way the country lives, to either probably have conversations with religious leaders to tone down the teachings that push people into that direction. And it's becoming a very critical part because if you look at it, Atiku last, ahead of 2023, as decent a response could be to the lynching of Deborah, because of the perception in the north, they deleted the tweet immediately. So you could tell that he is someone that is supposedly a leader that should be able to come out to say, oh, you know what, my people, yes, this might have been it, but this should be how it, but because of either political nicety and the likes, he backtracked. And imagine how many more persons have told that part. Till date, we don't even know who. There's no one that's been arrested yet.
For the Deborah case.
For the Deborah case.
So because of that, I think we are having more cases. Because apart from this MI, we've also seen some other cases. So many other cases that we don't even hear about in the news.
You get, so, and the fact that it continues to go that way means that it's a thought that has been entrenched in the minds of people, which is one of the very hardest things to do.
Is it, I mean, to actually tackle this matter? Is it the leaders, the Muslim leaders in the northern part of the country? Or should government step in to say that, okay, can we have like an orientation, I mean, for these people? Because if they continue to see these things as right, a lot of persons will keep dying.
Yeah, so I, for one, I'm also very careful with dictating doctrine to religious leaders. Okay. So be it Christians, be it Muslim, I'm always of the view that I wasn't the one that called them to ministry or called them to minister. Their God called them, or God called them. So I don't know the conversation and the directions given to them. So I'm very careful with dictating doctrines to spiritual men. But at the same time, I feel there are some things that are basically morals, that the laws of the land is clear on. So to address this, I think let's put it this way. Let's take away religion or what anyone has been taught or what we perceive about what a religion says about actions like that and just go straight into the Constitution. What does the Constitution say about taking the life of another man? What are the punishments? What are the processes? So I believe the moment we can allow our laws work, many of these things would actually be suppressed.
Okay.
So if one person has an issue, and like this scenario, and the perpetrators are already arrested, taken to court, the court hears them, what are their views, what are their opinions, and make a judgment on the case and find them probably guilty for manslaughter or murder, I believe that would also serve as a deterrence to many others down the line. But in a scenario where such happens, there are no conversations, people walk scot-free, perhaps other preachers come up and even encourage it and say, oh, that's the way it is. I feel we're going to continue to find many more of that happening. But if the laws, the rule of law, the laws of the land are made to stand strong, I believe that we'll start seeing adjustments. And like I would always say, the law, justice, all of this help to shape the behavior patterns of citizens. If you tell people that it is wrong to steal, and they see people keep stealing and they are going scot-free, people will continue to steal. But if they find out that someone steals and is arrested and jailed, you will see that people would adjust to themselves. That's why punishment is there for deterrence. Until there is that, I believe we'll continue to have this going on, no matter what we say.
Okay, I think that's a good one. Let's talk about Sowore very quickly. I have this headline that says, how Osibajo clashed with DSS over Sowore's detention. I think this is taking us back to 2019 when Sowore was actually arrested and Osibajo came into the picture to say, we'll release this man according to the law, even the court order, you're supposed to release him. And I think this is coming back now because of the recent issues surrounding, Sowore. He's been in the news, consistently. Recently he was arrested and released and he was injured. We saw the pictures online. In a way, he complained bitterly that, some men came in and, of course, assaulted him and the likes. And he has complained bitterly about the charges that have been filed against him. He even made a comment to say he's not sure whether those lawyers are competent lawyers, looking at the level of charges, that, he was charged with. What do you make of this case? Do you think Sowore is doing too much? In terms of trying to speak up, for the police, for other people. It was on Raye's case when, she could not get a passing out certificate. He's still on the police officer's case, trying to say that these people must collect, what belongs to them. Do you think Sowore is doing too much? Do you think there's a better way to speak out for the people rather than, making himself, the talk of the town in a very bad light? Because, if care is not taken, he might be arrested again, for some of the things that he does.
From my own objective view, I believe that Sowore is a distraction to the country at this point.
In what sense?
In the sense that I believe he just wants to be in the news. That's just it. My experience and my time with activism has taught me that if you are championing a cause, there must be a clear-cut pattern that you are towing, that you execute and get the results that you want. All Sowore has done in recent years, as far as how I can interpret them, has been trying to prop himself up as the man of the people, one, but not necessarily because he has the genuine interest of people. It's just like trying to advance his interest and position himself so that he can be like, in quotes, the leader of the youth or the aggrieved ones in the country. And so you see him jump on every issue. So the danger in criticizing him, like I am doing, is because when you look at it, Raya's case, it has headed this way. You see many other cases that he has jumped on and, they've gotten results and the likes.
Yeah.
In reality, most times, many of those cases are cases that, if they are followed truly, duly by the law, those were still going to be the intended outcome.
But for the police case, does it look like it really?
For the police case, let's take a quick step back into the last one he had, where the media and the likes came in. It was not in the prison. It was in the reception, perhaps, or an office where he sat down, which I profile, based on how he had pumped up the media that he was beaten, harassed. The interview should have been held probably somewhere close to the prison, the cells and the likes. He looked well fed. He looked all right.
When he was released?
Yes.
But he was injured. You didn't see the picture of his arm.
Where is the medical report? I can easily take a bandage.
Do we need a medical report?
Yes, he should put it forward.
Really?
Yes. See, I am very careful what I'm saying here because to an extent I have some information and understanding about him.
Unfortunately, we cannot drag this for long because
that's
of time.
why I am very skeptical about him. So just even give just a short one. I've been in his campaign during 2019, thereabouts or so. I was a little bit involved in some ways as a student. And I saw basically that his rhetorics as he portrays himself on social media is far different from his personal rhetorics down the line. The same thing the politicians that he consistently points fingers at, abuses, is the same thing he's doing in terms of how you play your politics, how you buy supporters to come to event centers to shout your name. And so let me just leave it at that because we're not talking about him. So my experiences makes me see between the lines. NSAS, I was actively involved. I saw his supporters and his teachings came to hijack the protest to make it a Showeres, what is their red beret, orange berets, whatever. So I don't have an issue with him like one-on-one. I'm only more of ideology based that, okay, if you tell people this is who you are, or if you are championing a cause, I believe there should be some sense of consistency with your values. And that has been missing. So it makes me question anything that comes from his end so far. I might be wrong, but based on the information and experiences,
opinion,
that's what I feel at the moment. So that's why I said it's a distraction at this point. So he has a lot to show and prove to us over time that is genuinely interested in seeing the country better. And let me leave it at that.
All right. A big thanks to Temitope Shola, a public affairs analyst and, of course, historian. Thank you for being a part of today's segment.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. I think it's a fine place to leave it this morning on this particular segment, newspaper headlines analysis. Please stay with us. Big story. We come up soon, and Samson Balogun is standing by.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before, book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Welcome back to Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. It is time for the big story, where we dive into issues shaping Nigeria's political and societal landscape. This morning, our focus shifts to Rivers State, where the political temperature has reached boiling point. I'm Samson Balogun. Thank you for joining us. For months now, Rivers State has been on the edge, rocked by the bitter fallout between former governor and current FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, and his successor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara. What began as a power tussle within the PDP has spiraled into full-blown political crisis, forcing the federal government to declare emergency rule in the state, as Ibokete Ibas was installed as the sole administrator in Rivers State, despite having a democratically elected governor. The crisis didn't stop there. In the midst of the turmoil, Rivers recently held its chairmanship elections. And in a shocking twist, the All Progressives Congress, APC, which is not the ruling party in that state, swept 20 local government seats. This outcome has raised the eyebrows, fueling fresh debate about shifting alliances, voter confidence, and the balance of power in one of Nigeria's most strategic states. So today on The Big Story, we ask, what does this power struggle mean for governance in Rivers State? And could it reshape the political map ahead of 2027? Joining us today on The Big Story is a stalwart of the APC, Honorable Omolaja Olaoye. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Samson. Good morning for having me here. I'm very delighted to be here. And good morning to you people via home for listening to us.
All right. You watched the proceedings in Rivers State, right from when the scuffle between the former governor and the current governor of Rivers State started. And of course, a sole administrator was installed. Do you think this will be the end of the crisis in Rivers State, or there is more to come?
It is unpredictable. We expect politics about events, and the game that is going to be added to it are always there as well. But I think Fubara must have learned his lesson right now. But for the fact that probably something like that can come up in the nearest future, that is why the election for local government were held right now, because that is what is bringing all the problems. So probably in the future, there might be scuffle if they don't learn their lesson, but the government must continue.
Now, talking about lessons, was it right in the first place for the president to declare state of emergency constitutionally in Rivers State?
We always debate this forth and back all the time. It is not even about state of emergency can come in any form. Whether the president, it might cause by war. You know, we have a lot about five countries that surrounding Nigeria. What about if there is war? If those people encroach this state and there was problem? Mind you, it wasn't always just because of godfatherism, godfathers fighting his godson. It happened in Bordeaux before, when there was state of emergency. And what causes this was because a lot of local governments was being held by Boko Haram. And heaven does not fall.
That was terrorism.
That is what I'm saying to you. What gives
the case in Borno State and that of Rivers State, they are two different things.
It is not two different things. You are talking about instability in the state. That is
politically,
and
not security crisis.
Whether political crisis, whether any other crisis, whether because of emergency or anything, if there is breakdown of law and order, the conscience said there must be an emergency. It might be by any form. It might be by earthquake. It might be by in different kind of form. I told you if there is war and there is encroachment, the federal government can declare state of emergency. And this is not the first time it has been done in Nigeria. It was done during the First Republic. You are talking about when Chief Awolowo was removed as the Western governor or Western governor, and somebody, Maje Kodumi, was put there. So this is not a new thing in Nigeria. Debating it is, and because of the state of emergency, there hasn't been any vacuum. There has always been law guiding, even where the state of emergency has been declared.
The crisis in Rivers State and the state of emergency rule, was it a tool to gain political control of Rivers State?
Who is fighting for political control? It's about the godfather and the godson. Both of them are doing it. So, and there is always going to be control of the state by a probably body, probably a particular person. It's always like that in the political realms. And that is what we have to accept. Now, it is normal to be political crisis all the time. It happens in our lives, daily lives, every day, even in different sectors as well. So, political crisis in Rivers State is not the first, and somebody must gain the power. Whether it's going to be A or B or C, somebody must be in charge. And that is what is now happening in Rivers State.
Is the president indulging former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike?
I think it's unfair to say that. I think it's really unfair to say that. Because, like I said before, I mean, politics is a game of event. Nyesom Wike is using what he got to have the control. If it falls in Fubara's hand as well, he's going to use it to the fullest. And for now, he's favoring Wike, and Wike is using the tool he has to fight his enemies. So it must be swift.
So the president is a tool.
Don't say
to fight Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the people of Rivers State.
I don't believe president is being used. When AMPP was in charge of Borno State, our PDP government declared a state of emergency. Nobody is crying foul. Then, nobody is crying foul. So why is it now? Because Wike is gaining the momentum. If he doesn't gain the momentum, we are going to say different thing. We are talking about the crisis in Rivers State. What about different political parties that are handling the crisis as well? You are going to blame the government for what is happening in Rivers State. You are going to blame what is happening in ADC on the president as well. You are going to blame what is happening in the Labour Party on the president as well. That means we are not serious. We are not serious. We place all the burden on the presidency when we don't know how to sort out our home. I really think it's unfair. We shouldn't do that. We must face our problem and know how to solve our problem. That is what is supposed to be doing in Rivers State. Wike is now getting an upper hand. When it was being tossed apart, and when Fubara was fighting and he was winning, nobody talks. You must remember this particular thing happened in sometimes ago in Edo State as well, when this former governor was there, and he ruled autocratically. He ruled illegally.
You are talking about Godwin
Obaseki. He refused to really respect some of the state of assembly. He ruled with probably half of the state assembly, and nobody talks. The press doesn't talk that way because what he was doing is illegal and is wrong. So nobody talks. But when we are now seeing a kind of sanity being put in place, we are not going to be blaming the presidency. I don't think it's fair.
Now, you have mentioned crisis and the feud between Nyesom Wike and Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara.
Yes.
Now, what would you say is the genesis of this crisis in the first place?
The genesis is about power, and we all knew that power is always difficult to let go by those who have the power. And if you want to play with the devil, you must have a very...
So Wike is trying to hang on to power in Rivers State.
He's hanging on to power, and who is going to blame me? There has been agreement before, and Fubara fighting back to gain the power he thinks he has, and which is normal as well. But when you are talking about the matter of gaining power or playing in particular games, somebody will win, somebody will lose. Even in relationship, if it breaks down, somebody will win and somebody will lose. That's the way it is. So now it favors Wike right now, and Wike is fighting for the power. Mind you, he has a lot of people who are following him. He has a lot of loyalists who he needs to satisfy as well, and they are going to parade his name. Unlike Fubara, who hasn't been in office for more than a year and he has been picking enemies. He's one of those foot soldiers of Wike, and during the prior struggle, it favored Fubara out of so many people. So others are going to be satisfied as well. That is one thing about politics. You have your loyalists who are going to be able to be worshiping you like God all the time, and you need to favor them. I think that is what Wike is doing, and this is what causing all the problems, because only Wike cannot fight this fight. He has to involve a lot of people. And during the struggle, you must remember that there are some state of assembly members that jump ship, that left Wike camp and go to Fubara. Only Fubara doesn't muzzle the enough power. And if you remember, it happened in your state sometimes years back, when you are talking about how to gain the power. If you want to gain the powers, just have your state of assembly members loyal to you. That is what you have to do. You cannot just be fighting someone and leave constitutional power that you're supposed to have. Fubara is being reckless, and I think it's now paying the price.
Now, you made mention of the fact that Nyesom Wike is trying to hang on to power in River State. Isn't that godfatherism?
Godfatherism is everywhere. It's all in the sector. In the religion, you are going to have a spiritual father. In governance, you are going to have sometimes godfather. It happens in some developed world as well, whether you like it or not. I will give you an example of when you are talking about Democrat and Republican. When you are talking about Republican, you are going to talk about, for now, it's going to be Trump, because Trump's playing all the aces. If you fall out with Trump, you are going to lose your seat, whether you like it or not, because he's using the power he has. And when you are talking about Democrat, anybody that wants to be the presidential nominee of Democrat will go systematically to go and worship former President Bill Clinton. It's one of the political game, and for now, there is nothing we can do about it. It might be wrong for some people who think a particular person will have all the power that is not expected of him to be wielding, but at the end of the day, this is where we find ourselves, and people have some very, very powerful influence in whatever we are doing. So that's the way it goes.
You mentioned that politicians are to be worshipped, especially godfathers. Are they meant to be worshipped in the first place?
I don't know.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Is politics a profession?
Of course, politics is a profession. How will you spell it out? Politics is a profession. Whether it's going to be part-time or not, but when you are talking about satisfying people, that is what is difficult to do. You are talking about what is God. You have God, big God, G-O-D, and you have small God. And human beings are gods. You are God. You are talking about Shango. You are talking about Ogun. You are talking about Oya. They are small gods. People have been worshipped, whether you like it or not. You see in our place of worship how people believe in not even the sanctity. They just believe in a single entity that creates that particular sect, and they are going to be worshiping them. That's what they do. When you go to those countries that have these smaller gods, probably Hindus or whatever, God, some people are meant to be worshipped, whether you like it or not. So, and even if you don't want to be worshipped, some people will still worship you. If you refuse to be worshipped, some people will just think you to be their God. We know what happened in the Bible. When the Israelites are going, people still find, despite the fact that they have seen hell, they have seen terrible, their eyes have seen terrible things. They were let go from the colonial rule of Pharaoh. They still went into a bush to be worshiping somebody that doesn't even help them. That's for you to know that in anywhere we are, godfatherism, whether you believe it or not, some people are still going to be worshiping some people, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Now, let me ask you this. Over the weekend, the fight for the soul of River State became clearer. The All Progressives Congress, APC, cleared 20 seats in the local government election recently conducted, while the ruling party, PDP, got only 3 seats. Now, the question is the APC satisfied now?
Thank you.
Now, we can say, it is safe to say Rivers is in the bag.
It's easy for you to say that. But when Fubara was
That's what you wanted. You are a member of the APC. You wanted River State. You wanted the soul of River State, and now you have
I love your statement. I love your statement. Why? Because when Fubara used another political party that was not even in existence, that doesn't even have one state house of assembly to conduct local government election, and all those seats were being occupied. You are talking about the councillor, you are talking about the chairman, the journalist doesn't come, to rescue democracy there. They didn't complain about APC or any other party. Now, for the fact that the things has now been turned around, and the same game Fubara used is what they are now used to checkmate him. It shouldn't be an issue. Is APC legally constituted at the federal level? That's the question we must ask ourselves. Is it kind of a party that is unknown? It is not. And we have seen a lot of stakeholders that came out to vote during those elections. That is what I'm saying to you, that politics is game of event. When the event comes, different stakeholders are going to be playing the games, and somebody is going to win, somebody is going to lose. But now you can see at least the local government of Wiki is being held by PDP. He delivered it, and in fact, it is hilarious. But we are going to see what event that is going to play in the court, because a lot of the stakeholders are going to go to court as well to challenge the validity of that election. And we are waiting to see what is going to happen.
I was coming to the validity of the election. But then, before I go to that, you are a politician.
No doubt about it. I never hide it.
Okay. Now, the question is, you and your politician friends, you think this is a game?
Life itself is a game. Life itself is a game. It depends on how you can be able to play it. Do you know how many people are in Nigeria? We are about 300 million. And you play your game, you are not the only one in the profession. A lot of people are there. How will you play yours? Life is a game, and we must play it. If you don't want to play it, you are going to be forced to play it. And this is what is going on. At a point in time, Fubara conducted an election. The party that was not known swept all the councils, including all the councillors. Then it favored him, and he was laughing. All the people are laughing with him. Now the thing has turned, and somebody else played the game. And you are not telling me it's not game. It's game, of course. You are going to be forced to play it, even if you don't want to play it. People will force you to play it.
Now, the result of the election conducted in Rivers State, is it a sign of shifting voter confidence in Rivers State, or just another game, just like you mentioned it?
It's just another game. It's just another game, because before the creation of a republic, whereby we have to be voting for who we want, we have monarchical system, and it's always by revolution when people don't want those who are governing them. I am talking about the monarchies, and they will go, they will burn houses, they will kill people, this and that. But now it's about choice. If you don't want this, you are going to choose them at a point in time. There is a stipulated year you are going to be given for you when you are being given that mandate to rule a country. Now, we are talking about 4 years. 4 years is always lapse. We are talking about 2027. And people will be able to shift to whoever they wanted. They are going to choose them. APC doesn't have any control in it. PDP never has control. It is whomever Nigerians choose to lead them are those that going to lead them. So what happened in United States of America? The last election, Biden election with Trump to what's it called? Trump election with this woman. It was, you can see the turnout. In the history of United States of America, we have never seen that kind of turnout. For you to know that when people want to revolute, when there is going to be revolution of voting, people will come en masse and vote for who they want. APC doesn't have that power to control people, and PDP. That is why you see Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu now changing the game to suit the temple. He's playing the game to suit the temple, because the temple is what people wanted, and he's asking, and he's getting feedback.
Are you sure about that?
He's getting the feedback. whether it's going to favor him or not, but he's doing it according to what people wanted. You can see when you are talking about inflation of food, it's coming down.
Now, let's talk about the credibility of the election conducted in Rivers State.
Yes.
Was it legal to conduct another election?
Is it not legal?
Even after the sitting governor conducted an election?
It's always baffling. What is the power given to the governor of the state? They call it what they are not. They are just ordinary figurehead in the ends of their affairs. The power to legislate, to deliberate about finances, to anything line with states of assembly. We are giving the governor the power they don't have. And it's so sad when I keep listening to it. If the governor is there or not, it has no validity. The power to select lies with state of assembly. And now, when you are talking about the validity of this election, if the state of assembly is not in seat, the power will be given to the National Assembly to legislate. And this is what National Assembly did. This sole administrator has the constitutional power to partake or play a particular role because his seat, it is not illegal. I will tell you, there was a time Muhammad Buhari came into power. And when he came into power, what it does, it dissolved all the Director General, National Federal Director General. And these people went to court. And the court stipulated that they are mandated. They are mandated constitutionally to run their term, whether you like it or not. Same thing play out with when you are talking about choosing a central bank governor. During the time of President Goodluck Jonathan, he tried as much as possible to sack the then governor of Central Bank. And because he hasn't got power, you know what he did? He suspended. It's always about suspension. Now, this conducted election has constitutional power and is valid for you to know.
Okay, where does this put point to APC ahead of the 2027 general election, especially in the South-South?
In the South-South, the APC is gaining ground. When you are, the South-South doesn't need to comply. It's only people don't go there. When people get to South-South and Southeast, there is always power play. South-South believe that it is only the Igbo that like to control them all the time. And when they get the power, they always leaving them out. It is not me. It's as what that is what happened during the time of Ojukwu, and they can always remember. And when Aguiyi was there, it is on people public to be able to go and check it. So now South can swing to anywhere. It's going to be the system in the United States whereby you are going to see a lot of swing states that can go to right or left. So South are going to be progressive whether we like it or not. So when the time comes, if APC doesn't do well, they can even vote against them. But for now, South is getting into the back.
You mentioned that the APC is taking over in the South-South. Now, the election that was conducted in Rivers State, is it now an overview of what the people of South-South currently feel, or it was orchestrated to look that way?
I don't know, because I was in Rivers State, but at the end of the day, we all knew that local government election being conducted is never been fair in any other state. Rivers State is not excluded for now, because when you are talking about the voting power, it's going to swing when it's come to national election. But for now, all those elections in the local government is never been fair. It's always been rigged, whether you like it or not. But now it favors APC, who is now going to be able to smile because now they can be able to enjoy the template.
Now, what's the fate of the PDP in Rivers State? With the PDP currently polarized nationally and, of course, at the state level?
PDP in Rivers State, for now, I don't see them because they are in ICU, like what Senator Suswan said. in his current interview, and they are in real problem. How they are going to come out of this quagmire, left to the way they played the game. But now, if they play it well, they are going to get out of it. If they don't, in 2027, they are going to have a lot of setbacks.
For the APC in Rivers State, is this the beginning of a political realignment, or it's just a momentary win?
I wouldn't call it a momentary way, because now the godfather, the real godfather who is fighting for the power, is having the aces right now, and a lot of people are falling in line. You can see Magnus Abbey falling in line, and when you are talking about Amechi is fighting for his own what's it called? His own ambition rather than ambition of River State people, and you can't gain two things at the same time. You rather fight. This is what Asiwaju has done in the past. You must fight for the people, because before, when you now see the loyalists now with those, emerging people, he's going to give you political power, and this is what he's using to get to his way. And Amechi like that. When we are going to talk about the stakeholder in River State, we are going to talk about Amechi, we are going to talk about Wike, we are going to talk about Magnus Abbey, we are going to talk about former governor of this godfather. You are going to talk about Peter Odili. You are going to talk about him. Where is the body language of Peter Odili? I will tell you that because he's the same friend with President what's it called? President Asiwaju Tinubu. They serve at the same time. So it's only for now, I would say, Rivers in the bag to be able to support the ambition of President Tinubu. Whether the state is going to become an APC, I don't know. But when you are talking about whether the governor, whether the river, one is going to be in the port by 2027.
All right, let me ask you this very quickly. What do you see as the end game in River State between Nyesom Wike and Siminalayi Fubara? Do you see reconciliation, total reconciliation, or permanent split?
No. We cannot see, for now, we cannot see permanent split, because the power has been backed. The power to control the state is now in the bag of Wike. And we are saying that Fubara is ready to comply, just to have finish his term. So by the time he finishes his term, that is when we are going to know what is going to happen. But there can't be end game in politics. You become the friend today, you become enemy tomorrow. You might become enemy today and become a friend tomorrow. That is the way the game always is. There has never been end game when it's come to politics. Because how can you predict human beings? We are unpredictable. Are we?
Seems Nyesom Wike has been keeping tabs on the calendar on when Siminalayi Fubara will return to office. He made mention of this yesterday, that Rivers State emergency rule expires on September 18th of this month. So Siminalayi Fubara is coming back as governor of Rivers State to meet local government chairman. He doesn't even know. How would that play out?
It shouldn't be. It's going to be hard for him, but it's rather unfortunate. He must accept his fate right now, because the fate he doesn't want to accept. When you are talking about the commissioner that was asked to reconstitute when they started the fighting, this is what he's going to see again, because he was saying that all those commissioners was forced on his throat, and without commissioner, without the cabinet, you cannot do anything tangible. You cannot present anything, and he refuses. Now he is going to be able to find it hard, but this is the right time for him to know this is his fate. It doesn't have any say. It needs to be remoted. Honorable
Molaja, has Siminalayi Fubara been reduced to what people will call a drawing on paper?
I said it's going to be remoted. When you are talking about remote, he doesn't have the power, and that is where it should be. That's where it should be. No
governor should be figureheads.
No governor has absolutely. I keep telling people, the power lies with the state of assembly. I keep telling you, it is not in the constitution. Rather than setting up a board, countersigning, we are just giving them the power they don't have. You will see in the future, when they start to be splitting all those state house of assembly, when we know how to vote, when you have about 10, 6, 7 parties made up of House Assembly. That is what, see what happened when you are talking about 30 billion loan. It was who revealed the secret? It was the opposition. Something they want to do in a kind of secrecy. It was revealed by the opposition. That's for you to know the beauty of democracy. That's where it should always be. Assuming that about 4 political parties made up of that our state assembly in what's it called in our state, do you think they can be signing all those loans, all those controversial loans? It's not going to be possible. So now we are going to have it better in the next future. But for now, we are going to be patching this democracy the way we see it.
Who does it favor when we patch?
When we patch, it swings. It swings. Nobody knows what is. You can see what happened in 2019 when they don't even think Ignacio Makinde can emerge as a governor. When you have 2% of something, 2% can become 98%. Whereby 98% can become 3%. For you to know how anything can happen in politics. That is why they say a day is too long in politics.
All right, and before we go, let me ask you this question very quickly. When a candidate buys a ticket or forms to run for office for other colleagues of his, for example, when a governor who is returning to office buys forms for members of the House of Assembly contesting, buys forms for local government chairmen contesting, what will happen when they eventually win these elections?
They are going to be remoted by that person that bought the form. That is why I'm saying to you that as time goes, it is not going to be about APC, PDP, or any party that is well known. A lot of people are going to come from different parties. You can see what happened. It happened in Lagos State. Do you remember? Mushin, Federal Consistency. When a member of probably ACN was refused a ticket, he went to a court party in Lagos State. And he won. He won because him is what people want. Accord doesn't even have any seat. With time, we are going to know how to conduct election. That is why I said now we are having patch kind of democracy, and we must live by it.
We must continue to patch.
We have to patch until it becomes once. We are going to get there, and we are getting there. Serious, we are getting there.
Honorable Bolaji Olayo, thank you for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Thank you.
All right. Rivers State is more than just an oil-rich region. It is a political heartbeat of that often sets the tone for national conversation, whether for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. The clash between Wike and Fubara, the declaration of emergency rule, and now the APC's surprising local government victories point to a state in flux, and perhaps a new chapter in Nigeria's political journey. As always, the debate is far from over, but one thing is clear. The eyes of the nation are firmly on Rivers, watching how power, politics, and people's will collide. You are watching The Big Story on Daybreak Live, only on Dominion Television. I am Samson Balogun. Thank you for joining us. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll go to Trend Watch. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still the break live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Broadcast. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Do well to subscribe to that channel at Dominion Broadcast. Also, link up with us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now it's time for Trend Watch. I still have with me in the studio, Oluwayemi Adelako.
And I'm glad to be back here. Well done, Samson.
Welcome back. Okay, so something happened over the weekend.
Okay.
And the lead pastor of Deeper Life Bible Church, made, during his sermon, made some statements. And, there's something funny about Nigerians that, they wouldn't want to listen to everything. But then when they find a special spot where they can actually plug into, they're always quick to actually pick that.
Mm-hmm. Someone once said that if you want to hide something from Nigerians,
put it in a book.
They won't read it. Most, yeah.
Okay, so what happened is that he said, why not, if not, follow them home? Pastor Kumuyi uses Deeper Life's marriage rules, permits visit during courtship. I mean, that was what he said. But in the whole context, it was totally different. What he was trying to say is, look, if you have had your 6 months courtship, we have relaxed the rule that you can actually visit their families, get to know their family members, not to visit them. I mean,
not to wear polo and coat.
Now, now, okay. The people have actually turned this thing to something else. The General Superintendent of Deeper Life Christian Life Ministry, Pastor Williams Kumuyi, has announced major adjustments to some of the church's long-standing marriage guidelines, emphasizing that their administrative practices are not divine commandments. Now, speaking at the 2025 Global Family and Marriage Conference, Pastor Kumuyi responded to a female member's concern about single ladies not knowing prospective husbands well enough since they were previously not allowed to visit them. So he went on and on and said that, according to him, the long-held 6-month courtship policy was not rooted in the Bible, but was intended to help people to keep away from sin. However, after considering the perspective of the woman, he acknowledged that a marriage is a lifelong commitment that could determine someone's eternal destiny and the like. So you are now permitted to visit their family members and get to know them, at least know which family you are marrying into. Unfortunately, Nigerians did the Nigerian thing and turned this thing on its head. So before you say anything, let's take some comments. Okay. And then you'll be able to, bring out your comments. And Daddy Freeze was actually in the comment section. He said, it's good he's admitting he was wrong and making amends. Now, away from there are other comments which I know you will be interested in. This Anna Fab said, he said, Visito, It did not say go and turn semo and wear big polo with oversized slippers. I mean, Nigerians know how to bring out, trivialize serious issues, actually.
Definitely.
But then, what is big polo? And, you know, I don't understand.
I mean, because, I mean, we've seen so many guys come out to say that, you know, most of their girlfriends have taken, you know, their finest polo, their shirts, and whenever they come over. So I think it's a good one coming from, you know, Pastor Kumi to say that you're allowed to visit, because, I mean, you have to know who you are dealing with. Right. Because marriage is a lifetime commitment. You're going to be living with that person for the rest of your life. So it should not be about just, you know, calling each other on the phone, going out on dates. Can you meet the family? Because whether you like it or not, you need to have a relationship with the family member. Yeah. Exactly, as well, because you are not just marrying their son or their daughter.
You are also marrying the family.
And at the end of the day, you guys will have family parties that you see each other often. Even if you leave the country at some point, I mean, some engagements will still bring you together. However, I think Nigerians, or let me say, I don't want to conclude that members of this particular church will abuse this window, but then it will help them to know their partners more. Let me even shock you. See, even if you visit your partner maybe twice a week for the next 6 months, you still cannot know who that person is 100%. But it will give you an idea of what that person can do, and you can decide whether you want to stay with that person or not. So this should not be another window where you now commit and say, it's pastor that told us that we can visit. I mean, there are times that you can visit whosoever it is that you're dating. There are times you cannot visit, that even you know you cannot visit. So it's left, so whatsoever it is that anyone tells you, people will still do what they want to do. That's one thing that we need to, one fact that we need to establish, honestly.
I mean, you know, to buttress your point, it was pretty clear with this, what he said, that, look, this was designed by the church and not rooted in the Bible. Just that I want to make sure that members of the church avoid committing sin, which could come from, you know, constantly visiting, you know, your prospective man or woman. So it's something I just want to, you know, talk about this because you know, Daddy Freeze was making mention of the fact that now he knows that he's wrong and he's trying to make amends.
I don't agree with that statement, honestly.
That's what I'm driving at. You know, there are rules. And, you know, sometimes there are ground rules. Even at workplaces, there are ground rules that really has nothing to do with the Nigerian Constitution or the labor law. This is how we do things here. We call it our style. So if things are done in a certain way somewhere, I think you reserve the right to stay or leave. And I mean, I've not seen a place where people are being forced to attend a church, you know, pray at a particular mosque or something.
Members of that church are comfortable with that. And I think even relaxing this role, we just, you know, a lot of persons might even be indifferent about this. Yeah, they might stick to what they know. Or what was on ground before this new rule. I mean, that's what I think. So I don't agree with what Daddy Free, you know, said, you know, when he said that, you know, it was wrong, he's admitted to. I don't think that's a bad rule. I mean, that's why I said, even with that, before this new window, before this new change, there are certain persons who don't follow that.
Even follow
they
the
visit,
rule,
they sleep over. Can you, how will you even identify? They don't write it on their forehead.
Of course, there's no way you can do that. So.
It's a big issue. They don't write it on the forehead, whether they visit or not. So I just think it's a good one. See, when people give you an advice and you follow through, at the end of the day, you'll be the one to benefit from that. Yeah,
also, there is another comment that says, let me wait until it confirms that they can live together for a few days to get to know each other properly before I join the church. I mean, you know, it has turned to...
I don't think this is what Pastor Kumi is talking about,
honestly.
It
has gone beyond that.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's a comment that says, make una listen to the entire sermon. I mean, it's just like that. That's why I said some people just picked their area that they wanted, and they wanted to push their narrative, and it's totally wrong.
Before you actually quote someone,
yeah, just make sure that, you know, you make sure you are expressly clear about what that person actually said in totality and not just a section. And there's another one that says, it did not say go and sleep with him. He said go and know the family he relates with. I mean, that's
you know, speaking about how bloggers push out stories, I mean, because they are looking for how they can make you click on that story. And so they cut the part whereby, the parts that will interest you as a person. There was a time, I think a popular pastor in this country, I don't know whether Pastor Biome, said he's going to sue any journalist, you know, that cuts maybe anything he says.
They call it clickbait.
I mean, these are the issues. So I think journalists are part of the problem that we have in this country. Some journalists, some bloggers, you know, they cut a part that will benefit them.
And that is what will bring us to the conversation of who is truly a journalist. You know, there are so many people out there who don't even have the background knowledge of what this job is about.
We call some people yellow journalists. There's a reason for that, honestly. We call them yellow journalists. Why? Because some of them are even accidental journalists. It's not because they went to school for it.
Right.
I've seen people who did not study journalism, but they have an idea of what it is, I mean, to be a journalist. It's not just about going to school to get a degree. I mean, do you know what it entails? So these are the things that we should begin to talk about. Really, it's a good development, I mean, from that particular church, and I do hope that we don't abuse that window. Really.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show so far. It has been a wonderful session. This will be the convenient point where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Thank you for being a part of this show. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Our website is also not left out, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Now, each Monday is a blank canvas. Paint it with focus, gratitude, and determination. Until tomorrow, when we shall be meeting you again on this show, I say keep being good out there, keep being safe. Bye for now. Sam Sebalogun is my name.
Alright, thank you for being a part of the show. Do well to join us same time tomorrow. And before I go, I would love to tell you that sometimes your skills and talent might not be enough. You need to build up your passion that will get you through some tough days. My name is Oluwayemi Adelauk. I'm saying good morning.